Vlad the Impaler, also known as Dracula, was a Christian hero. Romania still teaches their children this. They honor him as a defender of their nation and their faith. You weren't taught that. You were taught that he was a monster, a psychopath who impaled people for sport. And there's a reason they told you that story instead of the real one, because the real story exposes something they don't want you to see. The difference between a Christian prince who waged war on soldiers and an Islamic empire that waged war on women and children. Here's what your history books left out. The Islamic Ottoman Empire was waging holy war against Christian Europe. They were swallowing Christian lands, city by city. And Vlad knew exactly what that conquest looked like because he spent his childhood as their hostage. He watched Christian cities fall. He saw what happened to the women, saw boys ripped from their mothers and converted at sword point. He watched his own brother break under the pressure and convert to Islam. But Vlad didn't break. And when he finally took his father's throne, he made a decision that would echo throughout history. Not here, not my people, not while I breathe. You've probably heard about the golden age of Islamic tolerance. Muslims, Christians, and Jews living in harmony. A multicultural paradise that supposedly put those backwards Christian kingdoms to shame. Ask yourself one question. If it was so tolerant, why did Christian populations disappear? Because here's what tolerance actually looked like. The devshirm, the blood tax. Ottoman soldiers would arrive in Christian villages and demand the priest hand over a list of baptized boys. Boys as young as 6, kidnapped, forcibly circumcised, forcibly converted to Islam, and trained as soldiers used to conquer more Christian lands and steal more Christian children. Hundreds of thousands of boys over the centuries. Vlad watched this empire from the inside. He understood exactly what was coming for his people if he failed. So when the Ottomans sent envoys demanding tribute, gold, and boys for the devshirm, Vlad didn't negotiate. He impaled the envoys. Sultan Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople, the most feared military commander in the world, had assembled 150,000 Islamic troops to crush Vlad personally. Vlad had 30,000 Christian men and absolute clarity about what defeat would mean for every woman and child in his kingdom. Outnumbered 5-1, he knew he couldn't meet them in open battle. So he made his entire country a nightmare to invade. He poisoned the wells so the Ottoman Empire had nothing to drink, burned the crops so that they had nothing to eat, and drove the livestock into the mountains so they couldn't resupply. Then came the night raids, Vlad's men striking after dark, slaughtering soldiers in their sleep, and vanishing before dawn. Then Mehmed's army reached Targovist and saw exactly what was waiting for them. 20,000 Ottoman soldiers impaled on stakes, stretched out for miles like a forest of the dead. The stench alone stopped the advance. Now pay attention because this is crucial for context. Vlad's cruelty was aimed at soldiers. Ottoman cruelty was aimed at civilians. The men on those stakes were combatants, soldiers who had participated in the rape, enslavement, and slaughter of Christian women and children. And what did Ottoman cruelty look like? When Constantinople fell in 1453, Mehmed's soldiers were promised 3 days of lawful plunder. Eyewitnesses documented what followed. Tens of thousands of civilians enslaved. Women raped in the streets and inside churches. Nuns violated on altars. Young women stripped naked and sold in slave markets. The elderly slaughtered wherever they tried to hide. The Ottomans made war on women and children. Vlad made war on warriors, and it worked. It worked. Mehmed II, the man who